Among the Tata Punch and the Maruti Fronx, the Hyundai Exter stands out with its quirky design and feature-packed offering, something very few cars can manage under the 12 lakh price point. No wonder it's now Hyundai's third best-selling car, with over 96,000 units sold within just a year of its launch by June 2024. One of those 96,000 units belongs to me, and in today's video, we are going to review my Hyundai Exter, which is the top-end model SXO Connect, priced at around 12 lakh. Is the Exter really as good as the numbers suggest? What are some of the compromises compared to the competition at this price point? Let's find out in this detailed user review, and by the end of it, I hope it helps you make a better buying decision. Without any further ado, let's begin.
So coming to the car now, as you can see it's a Hyundai Exter, so let's go to the front design. I think you can come closer. The front features an LED DRL with a head shape similar to like what you would have seen in Volvo cars. The headlight is here, which is obviously LED, it's a new car. It has this nice grille, obviously not a lot of air going, but it does look good, has like these diamond patterns. Exter written boldly, the Hyundai logo flat, so it's not mounted down here. Smooth black trim here, and again the lights. So I think this doubles down also as a fog lamp, so you don't have to get an additional fog lamp. So you can see Atharv has installed some skirting here. So if you want, aftermarket, aftermarket this thing. So this is probably the towing hook. There I don't notice any sensors here, but I am assuming there are front sensors. And yeah, the bonnet is fairly small if you see comparing it to the other cars of the same class. Wipers are actually huge. Now coming to this side, let's go to this side of the cars. It's got really nice alloys. It's got these, like, again I think it kind of follows the pattern of the headlights. Cladding is huge, so it will remind you of the Brezza and stuff like that. You can see it's huge cladding, so you can take it on dirty roads and not worry about the paint getting chipped. So what was this color again, Atharv, that you were saying?
Starry Night.
Yeah, this is the Starry Night, and under the light it does look really nice.
It's glowing under.
Yeah, it's glowing and it does look very nice, so take care of it if you get this color. It comes with a smart auto badge. So now you get these side mounted indicators here, so it's not here, which is pretty premium, and it obviously is auto folding. If you see under this, there is no camera because it does not have 360-degree camera, but the mirrors are huge. If you compare it to other cars, the mirrors are huge, so you can definitely see a lot.
You want to see the fold?
Yeah, it folds and it opens fairly quick. Then here there's the keyhole, and there is the request sensor for the for unlocking the car.
The key needs to be in decent distance from.
Yeah, here there's again a plastic trim. There is non-functional roof rails, but it makes the car look more high, and the car is quite high. The cladding continues towards the sides, and now the rear tire, there is, you can see there is this like element here which comes like with it again with the diamond shape you saw near the grille, and it looks quite nice when paired with this color because it's complementing each other. With the other colors it does not look that great.
Green color, I don't know what the khaki or whatever they call it.
This comes with a spoiler here. Spoiler is quite nice. I'm assuming it's again an accessory because this is, as you can see, the top end variant of the Exter. Again the Hyundai logo flat, not popping out. The same continues the diamond pattern that it had on this side. The rear window is fairly huge when you compare it to the other alternatives at this price range. Here is the rear wipers. So rear wipers are there. It's a very important feature. I'm assuming this is the washer. We will figure out how to use that, but that's a process for later. Yeah, here there's again a lot of cladding, grey cladding. You can hear it, very well built, and this is all plastic though. There is reflectors here. This is again the hedge pattern that was there in the front. It is followed here. So Hyundai is trying to keep some design consistency. I am assuming, yeah, this is halogen, so it's not an all LED setup here. The Exter badging boldly displayed here. Again, skirting here on the sides like it was there in the front. Then the fuel tank is here, so similar to what Maruti cars provide, same thing. Now we can open the door. I think you'll have to unlock the car for it. But if you just come a little bit back, you can see that the car has a very boxy shape. So for those people who enjoy that boxy shape, similar to Wagoner, but it does not look as in your face as the Wagoner. It's a little bit more elegant. There are some sharp lines here. You can see sharp body lines that Hyundai has given, and yeah, there is one continuous line that continues all the way from the sides of the car, and this sharp line adds some character to the car. Now let us open the the car auto locked. So Hyundai, I think in 1 minute or something it auto locks the car, so we can see how big the door opens, and the door opens fairly wide. I mean it's not 90 degrees, almost 90 degrees, and it is very easy for ingress for getting into the car. So I'm not that tall, but you can probably 5'6" or 5'6.5", and you can see with the seat put in my position, I have really good amount of legroom. Granted, I keep the seat a lot more in front. For taller people, I think you might find the legroom adequate. It's not that big, but it's not bad at all. Headroom is really good considering the height of the car. I'm not a tall individual, but if I were a taller individual, you can imagine I would still have a lot of headroom. And yeah, adjustable headrests here, good for safety. So all the cars that don't provide it, you should provide it. Isofix child mounts, very good again for child safety. Rear seat belts obviously there. You can see the rear seat belts here. So the center passenger does not have a head, but yeah, you can see that the rear is quite good. You got one charging port here, the 12-volt socket, where you will have to get another charger, so it does not come with the brand. Then here they're given an extra one.
Yeah.
Okay, so the brand is giving one. Then there is a very tightly put magazine holder here. You can put your phone if you want, and two AC vents, which is fairly big. Now we can go to the side. You can see this is all plastic. Opens like this. And I think, okay, because the door is open, it's not letting me lock. This is plastic. I think if I keep the mic closer, you can hear it. Plastic here, and here I think you can fit a small bottle, not a huge bottle, and here you can probably slot in your phone.
You can probably try that bottle.
Yeah, we can show you by keeping this bottle. It just fits in.
It just fits.
And this is probably a 750 ml
Yeah, it's a 750 ml
bottle. So
people who carry bigger ones, you probably
yeah, you will probably struggle with it. There is no bottle holder here, just letting you know, and
there's no
there is no armrest also, which is one big point for will be an issue for you. Let's move on to since we were talking about the sides of the car, let's just finish off with the back and then get to the inside of the car. So with the press of a button, you can click inside. There are two lights here, obviously, for the plate. There is a reverse camera here, and yeah, you can see there's reverse sensors here, and the boot space is quite good. The loading lip is not that high compared to its main competitor, and yeah, there's a fairly enough space. I think you can fit at least two suitcases easily.
Two small suitcases.
And inside this is the alloy spare tire. I think it's a full-size tire, but it is not an alloy. My bad. It's a steely. So that you should know. Conveniently there is a light here, halogen though, but there's at least a light.
And there's also a hook here if you want to hook something.
Yeah, there's a hook here. I think maximum maybe 5 kgs. Don't load it up too much. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of space. One thing I like about this car, place to hold here, grab handle, but I feel like it's a little bit counterintuitive. If it was here, it would have been better.
But then it's really weird.
Yeah, it's really weird, and the boot is heavy of this car. That's one thing I'd like to say. But yeah, that was the outside of this car, the Hyundai Exter. Tire specifications we'll put in the video. I'm not a huge, but this was I think around 184 centimeters ground clearance, so it's huge. 185 mm. So it is huge ground clearance, so you don't have to worry about hitting the potholes or anything like that. You can drive comfortably in India, but don't drive like a chapri. And yeah, that was the sides and the exterior of the Exter. And now let's go to the interiors of the Exter. And okay, now coming to the interiors of the Hyundai Exter. Atharv, what are your thoughts about the car?
The interiors definitely look premium. If you see if you start with the steering itself, if you see the whole steering has the leather sort of a thing, it's stitched decently. But the one thing is that all the interiors are hard plastics, but I don't think that's a thing, considering that all the cars in this price point should have the same sort of interiors, unless I'm wrong. But yeah, if you come,
we will see in a few minutes.
If you come to the infotainment system, which is the main thing most people care about, so you obviously have the map. Here is the integrated map by Hyundai
Blue Link,
and it's apparently
system
with Map My India, so that is there, but it generally doesn't give accurate traffic information and things like that. So I just connect the
wired Apple
CarPlay and I use Google Maps. Then similarly you have navigation, so basically you can search your different locations. You can save your home, office, and 3 other favorite locations, so that's a good thing. But yeah, you can do the same thing on Google Maps as well, but yeah, they're at least giving like a functional map.
So this comes with a digital odometer, right?
Yeah.
What information does it display?
So basically this displays decent amount of information. So you have
You can
this
control it.
you have this button here which switches through the menus. So basically it shows you the compass as well. For now we are in the north, but very few people will use it anyways, so that doesn't matter. Then you have your tire pressure, which is very important. It says drive to display, so it won't show up right now. Yeah, and this was the intro thing, so that's pretty decent. And then you have your mileage details. So this has 3 modes. This is the current trip, so basically it's 0 right now because we're not moving. And then you have since refueling, which I think is a decent feature. So every time I refuel I get to know the mileage. So right now I get anywhere between 8 to 10, but that we'll talk about mileage later. And this is since last reset, so unless I manually press and hold OK to reset, this won't reset. So this was basically, I think it resets every time I give the car to service. So I'd given the car to service the first time when it was only 400 kilometers. So since then it's calculating the kilometers. So that is that. And if I have to show the steering controls, here you have this voice button, which like I said is for Blue Link. And if you're connected on Apple CarPlay, then you press and hold it for Siri. And yeah, that is that. Then you have mode is for the different this thing there. You can maybe change it to radio and stuff like that. Then you obviously have your volume up and volume down. If I go to radio, for example, and I do volume up, you can see that the volume is increasing.
Okay, copyright.
Volume down. And then you can also change your channels from here. Then this is obviously for the phone, if you get a call to pick it up and all of those.
What about
then
cutting the call?
I think it's the same button. I don't use this. I just
But
press.
what if you don't want to pick up the calls?
I don't know. I just use the screen anyways. So this is a custom button. So basically for now I've mapped it to open CarPlay. So as soon as I connect my phone wired and I press this button, it should open Apple CarPlay. So that is that. And coming to this side, like I said, this is to change the different modes over here. So this changes this. This is for cruise control. This increases and decreases the speed, and this is for obviously controlling the different menus that are in this odometer. And yeah, okay, if you press and hold OK, it'll reset the details, and cancel is if you want to cancel what you have done. So overall, that was the run through of the steering, and there's a lot of steering controls which was missing on my Quid, and this is like super useful. When I'm driving, I control all my media controls from here itself. I rarely have to use the screen. So that is that. Coming back to the screen, you have, like I said, you have map, navigation for
a lot of buttons. So
yeah, it's contrary to the other car makers which are adding touch controls for.
Display.
Yeah, this is a 9-inch display, and contrary to other car makers, you see a lot of buttons here. Almost everything is controlled by buttons. So like I said, map, navigation, and you have the radio option, obviously for those of you who listen to the radio. Then media, you can use whatever, Bluetooth, USB.
Listen to some sounds.
Sounds of nature, basically. I don't know why would you need it, but yeah, this could be a good speaker test. So yeah, let this be moment of meditation.
Okay, so it comes with a 4-speaker setup, 2 on the side and 2 on the back. So
if I could probably show
I
you.
would say the speaker quality is quite decent. It isn't any specific brand speakers. So like how the Creta top end has the Bose speakers, this is not a Bose speaker, but I would say it's quite nice. I usually prefer 4-speaker setups over the 6-speaker setups because I just don't like the way the tweeters are tuned, and this is a good set of speakers. We'll do a proper speaker test while we're going on the actual drive of the car. And yeah, that is it for the speakers. I think we can move on to the climate control here. So this has automatic climate control. So if we turn off the climate control, you can see the cabin is really quiet. I would say insulation is quite decent for this car. And since it's a 4-cylinder engine, right?
Yeah.
4-cylinder engine. Yeah, that's one more thing we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about the actual engine specifications of this car. So it's a 1.2 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. I think do you know how much power it produces?
113.8 Nm of torque is what I just read in the spec sheet, but yeah.
But like in BHP figures?
No, I don't remember.
Probably it should be around 85 bhp. Because I had set the temperature low on
Yeah,
the,
so that is a kind of a demo of the auto
how
mode.
quick the auto AC kicks
Yeah.
in. Yeah, so you have these dials. It's not fully.
It is auto, but if you wanna
You wanna
now we
manually
reduced
adjust
it. Yeah, you can
It
do
is
that.
quite nice. There are 3 ports here. So one USB A.
Which I'm using for wired CarPlay.
Yeah,
right now.
one 12-volt socket which is connected to our wireless car charger, which is quite nice. So if I just place my phone here,
The wireless
it's charging.
charger.
And yeah, the good thing is it has one more port here, so you don't miss out on like another port just because of this wireless charger. USB-C for fast charging too, which is quite nice. Let's move on to this, which is the most important thing about the car, the gearbox. So traditionally Hyundai loves to use their DCT transmissions on their cars, and because this is a more not the top of the line variant.
It's
And
kind
if
of a premium car, but
yeah,
not.
but they decided to give the AMT, which I would say the AMT is better suited for the Indian roads, for anyone who knows, because the DCT starts struggling in India with the stop and go traffic, and a lot of people with the I-20, which comes with the DCT, have had issues. So this is an AMT variant, so you can see reverse, neutral, drive, and you can slot it into
the manual mode.
And the good thing about this is paddle shifters. Where are the
Yeah, here is the
yeah
minus and plus here, which
many of its alternatives do not provide. Now let's move on to this side of the car. The AC vents are quite nice and premium to hold. They don't feel cheap. It doesn't look like Hyundai has done cost cutting. You turn it around to open it and close the intensity, and you can obviously move it accordingly. And I would say the AC is quite decent in this car. It isn't loud. Glove box is kind of small, but it has decent amount of space. Goes deep, but actual width is kind of less. It is a cooled glove box though, so you can, if you want to keep some things cool, like my phone, which is hot after recording, I just kept it in and closed it. There is an additional storage here, which is really nice. So if you want to keep your sunglasses here, I just want to slot in my glasses here. It fits in quite nice, but this is all
plastic.
hard
So
plastic.
when you're driving, and it can make a lot of noise.
rattle.
So
Same situation with the bottle holders here, same size. Again,
no, it's probably bigger. Or
it's bigger.
I think it's the same.
I think it's the
size.
same.
Yeah, it's-
And it's a problem because it's cradled by this speaker here. So it has this grayish white treatment given here with these triangular patterns. Here it moves on to the same patterns it had outside. Patterns are followed here, albeit not that bold. I think Hyundai could have used these colors here also somehow.
I mean, it would have looked a bit weird. They probably won't.
I don't know, but
Yeah, but
there is nothing here, no tweeters here,
no, nothing. There's
this
nothing
thing.
here.
I think we can move on to this aspect of it, which
Yeah.
is the rear view mirror. So it comes with an SOS button, and I'm imagining
this
this is
is-
for when the car's
No,
getting
this
hooked.
is for if you're stuck and you want to call the Hyundai assistance,
okay.
whatever.
And this is Blue Link.
Yeah, the
How
blue
much?
link. If I press blue link,
Please see the
blue
PO
link comes here.
Okay, that's
So-
very handy, but this is not auto dimming mirror, so just know that. And it is a little bit
Yeah,
moves a bit, so
yeah, it moves a bit and it makes a lot of noise. Even while driving, it rattles a lot. So
yeah,
That's
just know that. Good thing is there's a tint here,
yeah,
so your eyes don't get hit by the sun. Moving here, there's no vanity mirrors here.
there is, but that's a decent.
I mean the vanity light here,
Hard
but there
light.
is a mirror. And moving on to the driver's side, it does not come with a mirror, but it has a toll booth
Yeah,
token here. 2 lights, halogen, and this is for on, this is auto, and this is off. So we leave it on auto for now. There is a sunroof here, so this is manually adjusted.
yeah, it
Aspect
doesn't.
of it.
I
It
mean, it's
isn't-
not that big, so you don't need the
Yeah, it
automatic
isn't
anyways.
too big. You can anyways adjust it while driving. It's not that big.
Yeah,
And so it has a one-touch open. Opens very quickly.
it hardly took
Space.
hardly
Don't
took
stick
2
your
seconds.
kids through this.
No, not at all. It's really small.
It's really
so,
small, and you should not be doing that with sunroofs anyways. And one touch close too, which is really good because when you're driving, you don't want to be pressing the button for such a long time. And honestly, I feel it has a slight tint too compared to the other windows.
Yeah.
So it does not let in a lot of that harsh sunlight, and it's quite nice. It adds a lot of airiness to the already huge cabin. If you see from this angle, right, the cabin is huge. And if you see, one big problem of this car is the C-pillar at the back. It is gigantic, so the blind spot that you can have from that it's kind of dangerous. So it would have been nice if Hyundai had probably put some glass windows there. But yeah, you'll have to be careful about that. But the cabin is airy. You will not feel claustrophobic inside this cabin. One thing Atharv has stated that this car is with the 7D Max. and
Yeah, this is
that.
not with the car itself, so that's one thing you need to know.
Yeah, and the AC is on the first level of blower. It is quite quiet.
Yeah.
And you can see the steering adjustment is there
Yeah, you
for
can.
reach and rake. We're not
Yeah.
moving it around now. And yeah, the seats are quite well padded. What do you think about the seats?
Yeah, the
since
seats are pretty comfortable, and yeah.
What about the under thigh support in the back? I felt that was a little bit.
I don't sit in the back much. I usually sit in the driver or in the co-passenger, so I don't know about the back, but in the front, even the lumbar is pretty much supported, and yeah, it's pretty comfortable. Like,
The good thing about this car is it comes with 6 airbags. So you can see here.
yeah, 2 curtain airbags there, then one is obviously in the front and one on the steering.
Yeah,
so.
we are yet to figure out where the other 2 are. But,
It's there somewhere.
but
so,
yeah, and the good thing is it comes with all variants. So
yeah.
that makes you feel like you're going in a safe car with a brand that actually prioritizes safety. If you guys know which brand I'm talking about, I'm trying to shade in this specific thing.
Here you have a lot
2
of
cup
storage.
holders.
2 cup holders, but this is probably just enough for something like an air freshener, which I've kept here. You can fit a bottle here.
And where are the keys of this car? You can.
The keys are here. I just
Yeah, so Atharv has conveniently kept it near him, which is actually a good thing. but-
generally what I do is I keep the key here, or I keep the key here.
Yeah. You can probably keep your phone here or like a pen here.
Yeah, something
And this
like
is a physical handbrake. Okay, the car is actually going to roll down. You can see, and it does not have that much travel. It does.
Yeah, it's decent.
One big thing this car is lacking is an armrest. So
Yeah.
did your Quid have an armrest?
No.
So it doesn't make that big of a difference for you anyways,
but
right?
I usually just keep my hand here,
Uh-huh.
holding both
Mm-hmm.
sides. So yeah.
So-
Or I can rest my hand here if I'm
Yeah,
driving
but-
with this hand. If I'm driving with this hand, but yeah, that's rarely.
Yeah,
what
and I think we
happens.
can move on to the controls there.
Yeah, the controls here are pretty decent. These are your mirror controls. I've set it at a particular thing, so I don't want to change it. This is for closing the mirror. So if I press it, it closes the mirrors, and I press it again, it opens it. So if you're in a tight spot, that's the thing to use. This is for locking and unlocking. So it just locks and unlocks. And here you have obviously the window controls for all the 4 windows. So
And it
That is
has
that.
auto up for the auto up and down.
no, it has auto down, but not auto up.
Really? The hazard light is here. It's not like a very. It doesn't feel like a proper physical button. It feels more like a.
It's not tactile. It's a more muted button. So
Yeah.
that is that.
2 AC vents here. Obviously, you can enjoy it. You can also give it to the people in the back. And yeah, it feels a lot of hard plastics. That's one thing I've noticed about this car. But you don't feel like you're going in a cheap car when you
Yeah.
are sitting in this.
The main thing here we forgot is the dash cam. So you have
Yeah,
a
this
dash cam
variant
here,
comes with a dash cam.
and the dash cam comes only with the top end variant. That's the SXO Connect. So that's what you need to know.
Mounted
And
quite well.
yeah, and I mean I found it to be mounted in a weird position. It's hard to see the display at times, and the display records both interior and exterior. So if you can see, there's a small thing for the interior, and the front is recorded. The problem though is there's no back recording. So if someone
Hits you from the back.
hits you from the back, then you have no proof of that. So that's that. And yeah, this is recording to the SD card here, and then you probably have to remove the SD card to review the footage. I don't think you can. I was trying to search for it, viewing it immediately, but there's no feature as such. So that's about the dash cam. And
The seat belts are not height adjustable, they're just normal seat belts here. And I think one more problem is the headrests are fixed. So
yeah,
really tall people, you will have to be a little bit worried about that. Then no height here, but height is there for obviously for the driver, which is good. I don't like any cars without height adjustment. And yeah, I think with that we can move on to the actual part of this car, which is the driving part. So we
no
will.
behind. If you just want to take a look, there's nothing much. It's just normal, and I think we covered that.
It is very
anyways.
roomy. That's
Yeah.
one thing I'll say. Like, and because of the way it's scooped, right?
Yeah,
The headrest is, I mean, height is pretty cool.
and they also give you 2 pillows with the accessory thing. Most dealers just give the accessory thing for free. So that is that. Then
Okay, now let's drive. So Atharv is belting up. Obviously, always use your seat belts. Check your mirrors to the side. And the car is very smooth. I didn't.
yeah, it is
Notice.
smooth. But one thing you need to remember is that it doesn't give you the pickup. So basically, if you are overtaking or something, you'll have to
Make it right.
brake. You'll have to press the accelerator a bit hard. But other than that, it is pretty smooth. one thing you'll have to get to know. One thing you'll have to get used to is the brake. Like coming from the Quid, at least, I felt the brake was a bit hard compared to the Quid. Like I could press the brake easier on the Quid, but yeah, you'll get used to it in
A little bit more firm.
Yeah, it's a bit more firm. Like now, if I'm accelerating, you can hear the engine roaring.
I mean, it's not roaring.
I mean,
it's still, it's I would say very,
it's not that bad, but it is roaring.
It is. I would say it's still very muted compared to the other cars I've driven. It's actually quite pleasant to drive. Like you want to have a conversation with your friends. You want to enjoy the music.
Yeah.
The noise deadening is very nice, and going to the windshield is huge. I mean, you can see everything on the road, and I can only tell when driving. But Atharv, have you noticed major blind spots apart from the one in the back?
No,
Because
for me the back is also not like that big of a blind spot. For me, the way I usually drive, I just check the two side mirrors, not the this. I generally don't check this mirror out.
Mhm.
So for me, it's not a problem at all. So that is that. And if you can see, the ground clearance is helping with the humps and the potholes. Hopefully, the potholes come. And
these roads are a lot more smoother, so it's not exactly the best to test, but it glides over the humps. That's one thing I'd like to see, and there's another hump. So
for example, if I reduced it down to 10 and now I have to accelerate, you can clearly like see that the car is kind of struggling to accelerate.
yeah, you don't feel that pull back to the
Yeah,
seats.
it's not the pull back type of bad, but yeah, it exists. But that's my only complaint about the driving. Like, but the Quid was even worse, so there's nothing much to say about that. But yeah, overall steering also feels pretty responsive.
Is it light or is it heavy compared to the Quid?
I think both are the same. This is a bit heavier because the Quid had it didn't have anything. It was way lighter. It was more plasticky to feel and things like that. So that way the steering is pretty decent. So that is that. Then yeah, the main thing is it doesn't give you that power. So if you want like that power sort of a feel, you probably have to go with probably the N-Line series, the i20 N-Line or the Venue N-Line, or maybe the Creta N-Line, depending on your budget.
Or other offerings from other brands.
Yeah, I mean, that is that. But yeah, overall this is like a pure city car, and it won't give you any problems on city roads, at least. Like,
It's good to be driven around in this car. I wouldn't say it's exactly a driver's car.
yeah, I mean, you can say it's a driver's car as well, because it's not like that much performance, but yeah, it gives you that sort of feel that you're driving decently.
What about the dimensions of the car? Have you ever felt this car is too big for certain roads or anything like that?
No, for me, I usually take this is probably the smallest road I've gone on today. All the other are the main roads and stuff like that. But yeah, if you see the approach road to my home, it's a pretty narrow road, but it gets through comfortably unless there's any this thing. I can show you enough instances where I'm pressing on the accelerator and the engine is howling to gain the speed. And sometimes what happens is when I'm really slow, it drops down to first gear, and then it takes a lot of time to switch to second gear. It doesn't immediately switch to second gear, so I have to give the accelerator a bit more. So that is that. But apart from that, if you see this, there are pretty patches of bad roads. This if there's a this and this.
Yeah, there was a.
It was pretty bad, but it didn't make
And
it
the
feel
car
bad.
also made a sound, I think. Was it the dash cam that made the
Yeah,
sound?
it's the dash cam. It's the dash cam.
I'm glad I don't have this dash cam because it would be always beeping when I'm driving. Now we are entering a narrower section, and that's when you'll have to a little bit slow down. This car is wide. I know it doesn't look wide, but
Yeah, it is wide. You can see it's occupying the entire lane.
And you don't necessarily feel like you're sitting in an Innova or something.
No, it's not that big,
But-
obviously, but
you do feel a lot more elevated, and
yeah, because of the height.
it adds some confidence. Can you see the end of the bonnet when
No.
driving this car? Okay.
But yeah, it isn't a obstacle. I just see the road straight. So that is that. Yeah, the tires are decently big enough for the potholes and things like that. So it's like I just purposely put it in a pothole and it doesn't give you that bad of an experience. The dash cam, yeah, it does keep beeping when you go into the potholes a bit fast or things like that. So that is there. What was I gonna say? I forgot.
Yeah, I think we can get into like a discussion about the mileage.
Since we couldn't really complete the discussion about the mileage, I'll give you guys a better idea. So like I said before, I was getting close to 8 or 9 kilometers per liter, or sometimes even it used to touch 10. But yeah, like I said on Reddit, people were recommending to drive a bit more light-footed. That's probably the better term. And once I started doing that, I slowly started noticing the mileage getting better. So that is one point. And the other point is there are two routes which I generally take on my daily basis. One I can take to reach college. So basically one of them is via the city and one of them is via it's kind of highway with, it doesn't have like that much traffic and signals. So one thing I've noticed is that this car doesn't like to stop at signals that much. If if I go through the city route, there are a lot of signals, so the mileage I get is a maximum of 10. And yesterday or day before, I went by the city after a long time, and I was surprised that the car gave me almost 13 or 14 if I'm not wrong, or I think it was 12. I'll put up the screenshot of that here. So that is that. If I go via the highway with less signals route, I easily get over 15, 16 around that. And my tank to tank mileage is also increased from around 8 or 9 or maximum 10, and now the latest number was around 11. So before I was kind of sad that I was getting less mileage, but now slowly the mileage has also improved. So that's a good thing in that sense. So hopefully you would have got an idea about how much this car can give, anywhere between 8 in the lowest in terms of high traffic and more signals and all of that, and all the way up to 11 or even 12. If you're on the highway, it should even go above 20 in my opinion, but I've never gone on the highway, so I can't comment on that. Hopefully you would have got an idea of the mileage from this. Drive feel of an SUV while being the smaller form factor which most people love, and no wonder people go crazy about this car. If I'm going on a daily basis, I see like easily 2 to 3 more Exters. See,
Just talking about it,
we see another Exter crossing by in the same color also. This color is getting pretty popular, but the most popular color is the green color. So that is that. Yep.
There is an auto. I'm going. Steering is light, very very light. You can easily, obviously not the lightest steering in the market, but you can easily one hand this. But yeah, I can see.
Yeah, it's something you'll get used to.
I can see what Atharv was saying. Even when I press down the accelerator, I don't necessarily notice the.
You can see the revving up at all. It touches almost 4,000 RPM, and you can hear the engine, is what I said, if you heard it.
But it still feels very very refined. Like this is me. I have to physically press down on the accelerator. There's no smooth this thing. So I will now continue driving smoothly because this engine I think demands driving.
Yeah, smoothly.
Turning is very very smooth. The steering recentering is also good. And now that I'm sitting on the driver's seat, I can previously I didn't notice the car being as loud.
That's what I said.
When I'm driving it in my style, I can audibly notice the engine making its own noise.
Oh god damn it.
I am used to giving very light braking, and this car is not necessarily.
Yeah, the thing is, initially even I kind of took time to get used to the brake, but yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, once you get the hang of it, anyways, you will not have any problems. The horn is very light.
Yeah, the horn. The other thing is, it's the classic Hyundai horn. It's very shrill. So.
Is it a dual tone horn?
No. So it's classic, and then you press it louder and.
But I will say the engine is smooth. It could be a little bit more refined. It is loud because I think that sound deadening is not given in the this thing, it is really nice to turn. Now I slotted in reverse, and this is the highlight of this car, the adaptive guidelines which Atharv surely loves.
Yeah,
And
I rely wholly on the adaptive guidelines, and
I am more of a
yeah, you can see Gautam is clearly like more in checking the mirrors and stuff. When I'm parking, I don't look at the mirrors at all. I just look at the display. But sometimes, yeah, to figure out the pillars and things like that, I use the.
and once I let go of the brake, you can see the good thing is
It comes with metal
yeah.
cladding or whatever you call that.
I don't know why the RPM it's idling at
0.6.
0.6, which is not bad at all. So would you
Great.
would you recommend this car to other people for city usage?
Yeah, for city usage, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you get a lot of good features in this car, especially the interiors. We spoke about it. You get a dash cam, but that's on the highest variant. But yeah, dash cams have become really important right now, considering all the road rage and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, overall, I think it's a really good
Definitely
car.
a feature pack.
Yeah, it's a feature-packed car, but the engine might.
The dull engine might bore some people.
Yeah, it might keep you wanting, and maybe cars like the XUV 3XO may give you a bit more power, and that looks a bit better also. Design could be subjective. Let us know what do you think of this design. Initially, I hated this design, especially because of that weird sloping thing and the Exter, where the Exter text is there. It looks really weird, but and the behind in the green color because of the color.
Yeah.
In this color, it doesn't look that bad, but the green or the other colors which they have, the behind part looks really offset. It doesn't match with the color, but since this is a darker color, it matches well. But yeah, since I think it's because of the color, I started to grow on the design of this car, and yeah, for a city car, this is a no-brainer, and no wonder Hyundai is selling this car like hotcakes. Like, I remember when this car was first announced, within the first 10 minutes or something, there were 1 lakh bookings for this car. So the craze for this car was there since the beginning, and I've kind of come to the conclusion why it's a good city car. It has good height. It's not like the hatchback sort of, or it's neither the hatchback or sedan low, nor is this big SUV. It slots right in the middle, and the interiors are decent. The steering is smooth. The drive is good for city, and yeah, overall the design might be polarizing, but other than that, Hyundai has made a solid car, and it reflects on their sales as well. I don't know the monthly sales of the Exter, but overall they've easily sold more than 2 lakh cars of the Exter, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, that way I think if you're looking for a new car, you should definitely test drive the Exter and see if it fits your requirements.